Yes.
Oh, good.
So those are what Vivian provided in the pricing she uses.
Perfect, okay. All right, the burning question of the day around the room is, have you done postcard mailouts before and were they successful? Starting with you.
No, I have not done them, so I have no input as to whether or not they are successful.
Okay. Amanda?
Me personally, no. I think I've done some sort of mailing for you before.
Okay. Robin?
I have not done them.
Okay, 40 years in the business, I have done them. Years ago when social media wasn't so significant and I was selling homes in Houston, we would do postcard mailouts and letter mailouts and door knocking consistently. And over time, if you were consistent with it, in 1 month, I could get as much as 8 listings from a postcard mailout. And we'll talk later as to why that works, why that happens.
Would you consider my mailer a postcard? I don't think so.
It's when I say postcard mail, I think any kind of mail out.
Okay, then yes and no. It was not successful.
Okay.
But I part of that is because I didn't have the consistency, the follow-up. afterward.
Exactly. I was going to say that, but we'll get there in that conversation, Carl.
I have not.
And welcome again.
Thank you.
Glad you're here.
And I'm about to.
Ooh, yay!
I'm about to send out one of the cards, the Jack White cards with handwritten, right, to all my neighbors. With my card,
How many people will that be?
120.
Okay. Cool.
And it's just a Holly. And then after that,
So Holly's gorgeous.
yeah, I walk the streets, and if I see anybody on the street, I will say, hey, did you get my card?
Yes. Yes.
Right? So
You should be
that's
sitting right here.
my plan was to do that. And hopefully, I've already got one off Facebook. I'm like a contact.
Oh, my
Contact. They said that they have a friend, and they wanted to know if they any houses were for sale. And my other friend that's on the board, and she says, well, Lisa is our neighborhood realtor. I know. And I've not just been a realtor, 4 days?
I'm
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pretending like oh yeah, I am. So I've already
And
emailed
being on
her.
that board is amazing because you will eventually be their go-to person for every listing, every sale. What a beautiful neighborhood too.
It's great. I really like it there. Other than the other day, somebody left their trash out, which is against the rules. We're going to send her a letter. Big brown bear with two cubs walking down the middle of the street. And I'm like, that's kind of scary. So don't leave your trash out.
So is there like a neighborhood newsletter?
There is the Facebook page, and there's a newsletter. There's a website, but I can't really use that, per se. I don't think, except for
conflict of
when
interest
I don't think the volunteer.
So
I can say that I am when I introduce myself, but to use it as like when the board meetings and
yeah,
and the
but
website.
let's go back to that newsletter. So is that an online newsletter? Oh, yeah. Okay, because if it had been a hard copy newsletter, and there's a cost involved, you can underwrite the cost. And this newsletter is provided by so-and-so, your local realtor, and that this has been paid for by.
Right.
It's just a dog.
That is, yeah, they haven't actually got one in a while. They used to get a copy once a year
Now, if you're
of
good
all
at
the
writing, you
contact
could write a
information.
neighborhood newsletter about the bears and remind people about trash cans.
Exactly.
You're going to own that neighborhood pretty quick.
I do.
That's really exciting.
I hope so. But
Okay, let's
yeah.
jump from that burning question to points. How are we doing on points, Carl?
Bam. Points. In third place is Team 1 with Captain Aaron Asbury, Kathy, Chelsea, and Lisa with 258 points. Not too bad. In second place, closing the gap from last week pretty significantly, is Team 3, Captain Carl. It's myself, Billy, Terry, and Robin. I will say the only team where everyone has turned in points. Go team. And then in the lead currently, but only by 13 points, is Team 2, Captain Amanda, with Kelly, Cami and Abraham.
And I will be reaching out to Kelly today and getting her points after this. So that we maintain our first place position.
You are handing out a lot of business cards, Amanda. That's really amazing.
I hand them out, like I shake people's hands. If I'm shaking your hand, you're getting a business card with it.
Yeah.
Did you know I just have to chime in about business cards. A friend of mine pointed out to me an app for your phone called Camcard.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of that before? And
Yeah.
you take a picture of the business card and it categorizes everything on there for you. So if you remember this person, the realtor, you can go realtor and it'll bring up the people that actually had that on their business card. So that way you can take a picture of their card and then hand them the card back. So that way they kind of remember that exchange. It's a pretty interesting app. Just a little tech fact for you.
It's sweet, and they'll take a picture of the back card, and it'll keep the picture of the card with it if you want. But yeah, if it's got front and back, you can do that. You can change and put the contact right in your contacts.
Yep.
It's cool.
It's pretty neat.
And I'm looking at the closings. Carl has 30 points in closings. That's amazing. That's a lot of closings, Carl. Billy's had 10 points, and Kelly Ray won at 30 points. I have 25 points. Your closings give you 5 points per hit. Amanda, this was updated. I have to do it.
Yes, I noticed that. Yeah,
Okay, so
the upper dates are right.
So I have to email you what I've done for points.
So if
Sure.
you actually just want to write it on that sheet and then hand it to me, we can do it that way.
Oh, okay.
And then once I get you on the email list, you'll see those and you can just hit respond and like
Oh, okay.
send it to me.
One success story. Anybody?
I just won with the municipality. They misplaced a check that we delivered to them and they just found it.
Was that for tax purposes?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, we delivered the check back in March, and it came up on my balance sheet this morning, and I was like, oh, no.
You mean that they hadn't cashed it?
Correct.
So they found it?
They
or-
found it.
They
Where
misplaced
they-
it.
Yeah, it
The
was great.
ladies' room? Where was it?
It was apparently stapled to another check. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So
Underneath the
that was a
pizza.
victory today.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Wow. For you, any problems in the field?
I was signing Thursday and just discovered I never applied for the home warranty,
You shouldn't have to.
and I never gave it to Kim. I'm getting fixed. Surprise!
Which listing is this?
East Merrill.
Well, it's not your listing.
Then I'll get handled at closing.
It's not your listing. It should have been the last page of your purchase and sales.
It was, so it's the last page of the PSA.
So you don't have to apply for it.
You're good.
It gets paid for right at closing.
I got a call from the title company today saying the contract's never been activated.
Or it never gets activated until
Till
the
closing.
closing. So who's the title company?
It was Karen. It was Alaska.
Karen knows better.
It scared the living hell out of me.
Well, is it? well,
Did she
here-
did she say she didn't have an invoice, or what did she say?
There's no home warranty control number that needs to be referenced.
Carl, on the warranty, did you check seller buyer coverage or did you check buyer coverage?
I'd have to look at the warranty and see how it's.
I think you still have a job, okay? You're good.
Okay,
Trust
I'm
me,
gonna make
it happens
sure.
all the time that
Because-
people don't get us home warranty invoices by closing.
But it shouldn't need to be activated unless it says seller buyer coverage, because you would have written it just for buyer coverage probably.
You should have written it just for fire.
Probably. I'm still keeping it in the field
But we
problem
will look
column
at that
until I.
in 15 minutes.
Yes, watch out for it.
Thanks for bringing that to the attention of the whole world. That way, the whole world benefits.
Don't do that.
So here's just an FYI, when we write a purchase and sale, when we write a purchase offer, we always make the warranty page, if there's a warranty involved, the last page of our purchase and sale agreement. And I've actually been doing that for years because 15 years ago when we started doing warranties, which were unheard of in Alaska, it was so common for the realtors and the title people to not even remember there was a warranty. And then 3 months later, your buyer has a problem that the warranty would have covered, but oops, nobody bought the warranty that the seller agreed to buy. And so that was always a mess, lawsuits potential. So I started making the last page of the contract the warranty page, and we number our pages, so if you can count, you should not have a problem, you won't miss the page. But I will admit that I've never seen another realtor actually do that, so it's just one of the things we do to save Carl's butt. So I think you're probably going to be okay.
Can you
But I'm
count?
glad you said something, so we can deal with that.
Yeah.
Okay, any other, I don't want to hear any more bad problems.
Okay, I'll put my list away.
Okay. All
I
right,
have my
so,
first open house on Sunday.
oh, how'd that go?
Yeah, it's gonna go. Not this Sunday. It's,
Oh,
coming,
you're-
it's
you're
coming
up.
up Sunday. Yeah.
And where will
So
that one be?
it's on John's listing that he needed somebody. I have the address upstairs.
Is it the one on Adonis?
That's
Okay,
it.
don't sell that one.
Don't say that. Why? Do you have somebody interested?
My wife and I just looked at it today.
Did you really? That's too funny.
Go ahead and sell
Pressure's
it. I'm kidding, go ahead and sell it.
Please like this.
Yeah, go ahead and sell it because I'd rather not buy it right now.
Just wait,
Yeah,
guys.
he said it's a
Weird
nice.
being your
I'm gonna
realtor.
look at it before I go.
It looks, I mean, it's a very nice place.
It's a very nice place. So I just need to get signs and do some research and go. You say to look at the house beforehand, and I don't think I've been in it. So.
There's no HOA over there.
Is that what you do?
No HOA, but they keep it up. They keep it up pretty nice.
Yeah.
I have done open houses with places I haven't seen before.
Okay.
You're
I'll just get
always,
there early.
you can always speak with more intelligence.
Well, I'll do the neighborhood research.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
and then
would-
I'll have the list with me.
Absolutely.
So, right? I learned that from you, from somebody else, via somebody else.
You wanna
Candy.
be that-
Kelly
Yeah.
taught her that.
Yeah, Cammy told me that you told her that, and I said, that is a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Just to walk in there with that, I mean, I can't even imagine me doing an open house without that background information.
yeah,
And I actually, not only do I want the market analysis information, I want each listing, so I know how they got sold, how long it took them to sell, those that didn't get sold. So anybody that walks in the door, if they care about what's going on in the neighborhood, you're the only one that has all the answers.
yeah, that's what I was, so that's my goal tomorrow, that's my goal is to
Yeah,
make sure that I
can
know
get-
everything
I can
about
get
that house,
information
and I'll let you know. You've
Right.
probably already done it.
I haven't done open house yet. Oh,
the
yes,
research,
I
the
have done the research.
Yes, yeah.
I've got it in my briefcase. I can give it to you if you want.
Yeah.
So we're doing a postcard marketing session today, in part because Robin on my team, she's our part-time realtor because she has a real job at the school district during the school year. So she comes on and she works part-time. And so the question is, what can Robin do, since she's not in this business every single day, 9 days a week, what can she do to bring business in the door? And of course, she lives in a nice neighborhood, so the thought was we call it farm your neighborhood. And then she, as always, did some research and then decided this would be a great topic today. So Carl and my team have handed out the 5 rules of effective postcard marketing, and then I've taken, and on top of that you have in your handout, I've got like some things that will flesh out this information. So let's look at both of these things at the same time. So the 5 rules of effective postcard marketing, and this writer goes into some detail about the fact that a lot of real estate people today are successfully doing online marketing and social media marketing, which my team does, and I think a lot of realtors do that very well. But this gentleman says that in spite of the dynamism of online social networks and the larger-than-life quality of roadside billboards, if you go to the rest of the United States, you'll see realtors on giant billboards with their giant face, bigger than life up there. Every time you drive on the freeway, you'll see those people, and that's what they consider good marketing, and I'm not saying it's not. A big part of the appeal is they can be produced and distributed fairly easily. This is the postcards at a relatively low cost. And did we get a cost sheet on this from our agent services people?
Yes. That's the only copy, but there.
Okay, so the last time I looked into doing a postcard mail out for a listing of ours, going out to, I'm gonna say 250 people, I mean, you want to look at the cost per unit of the postcard, and if you can get to the bulk rate unit number, it will save you some money. So the last time I looked at a 250 piece mail out, including the postage done by agent services, was under $100. So under $100, if you can get your face in front of 250 people, that's pretty inexpensive, and far less expensive than print marketing, which is really pricey, or that billboard that they won't allow to do in Alaska.
Did you ever have your face on a billboard in Texas?
No. You know what's, speaking of faces on billboards, though, there are realtors that will put their face on a bench seat in a park.
Yeah.
And I do not want somebody sitting on my face.
I was at Cars the other day, actually pushing my little cart around, and I looked down, and Kathy Johnson
Kathy's
was looking at
laughing.
me.
I get so self-conscious of what I put in my cart when I know the people that are staring at me.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I personally, I've never been the kind, I don't want to be somebody's grocery cart friend. But with that said, there's nothing wrong with that. And, you know, anything you can do to get your face out there makes sense, as long as it's
Do you
legal.
think that's successful, going on the bench and the grocery cart and the?
Well, I don't think bench and grocery, I'd rather be on the grocery cart than the
I
bench.
agree. I've been on a grocery cart before. In Fairbanks, I was on a grocery cart.
Did you have
Actually,
results?
yeah, I would have people reach out to me just because people that have already used me or people that knew me that said, "Hey, I saw your face on the grocery cart today." But it proves that you do get that exposure.
Yeah.
So.
Do you ever go like shopping there and then point at people's carts like, that's me?
No, the last
You're
thing
like,
I want
"Oh,
people to do is recognize me in the grocery store, because half the time I'm in like yoga pants or something, and it's like that's when everybody sees me. Yeah.
Yeah. On sunglasses, I'm not here.
So this guy goes on to say that oftentimes real estate professionals believe that postcards take a long time to work, but that is actually not true. Effective postcards work immediately and over time create an increased steady flow of business. In spite of their simplicity, though, postcard marketing isn't foolproof. To ensure it generates a positive outcome, follow these 5 guidelines. Now, here's another story about postcards. So I told you my Houston, Texas story. So I got a phone call a week and a half ago from a stranger who said, I am considering selling my home and I want to interview several realtors. And would you be interested in having me interview you? And I said, absolutely, that's what I live for. So yes. So I get to her home, and you should always find out why people call you. You know, this was a perfect stranger. Why did she pick me from 1,200 other realtors? And she said, well, 5 years ago, you sent a postcard, a just listed postcard for my neighbor's house. And you sold their house, and they really liked you and said nice things about you, so I kept your postcard 5 years ago.
That's
And now I'm thinking, why haven't I done postcard mail outs in the last 5 years? Because I slipped away from that. But we'll ramp that up. But I mean, what a great success story that was. I don't have the listing yet. I'm still trying, but she interviewed 3 people, and now she's down to 2, and I'm one of the 2. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so measure the results. You should measure immediate results as well as results over time of your postcard campaign. Within days of receiving an effective postcard, some people will respond, or you may get emails, registrations on your website. So clearly you want all your contact information on your postcard. And maybe the postcard should say, I hope you're taking notes, Amanda. Your postcard maybe should say, for access to every home available in the state of Alaska, please go to my website if your website is good for that. You may simply get a personal acknowledgement. Best of all, you may get requested to discuss selling or buying. So let's go to the little handout. And so measure the results. How would you envision measuring the results of a postcard mail out other than an instant listing? Or in my situation, after 5 years, somebody calls me. How else could you measure the results? Should you look at the expense of that postcard? And once you have a listing, look at if it would pay for itself or more.
We almost even say like a spike in our analytics from people like going to check us out because they saw a postcard.
So that's a good
Clicks.
point. Check our Google Analytics to see if
Yeah.
there's been more traffic to the website shortly after a postcard mail out. That's a good idea. Haven't thought about that.
Well, if you have an open house not too long after you send out the postcards, if you're sending them out to the neighborhood where the listing is, which I'm assuming is probably the general area, you could measure how many of the neighbors come to see
What
you.
a great idea. I just thought of this based on what you just said. The postcard maybe should say for a new listing, stay tuned for our first open house. Or call us for our first open house. Because you might want to do an open house postcard mail out after the just listed. Or at the very least, when we know we're going to do open houses, the message on the postcard could be, call us for our first open house. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I guess that works. I was just gonna say, what if, say we get a new listing and on the postcard, when we send out a just listed card, it would say, you know, come see this house on blankety blank from blankety blank blank.
Absolutely, if we're that organized, and if it hasn't already sold. So I think you have to be a little careful to post the date of your open house as you just
Mhm.
listed it, because you may sell, or you may not be able to do the open house on that particular day. But I think, call me to learn about the time of our open house
I think,
is a
yeah.
smart thing to do.
Yeah.
How else could we measure results? These are great ideas.
You would ask your person that hired you how they heard about you if you didn't know, like you just said.
Yeah.
Right? So you'd mark it down that
From a
actually
postcard,
came.
right.
I imagine if you also send one to your client who listed their house in the neighborhood, if any neighbors come up and say, hey, I saw a postcard about your house. You know, if it generates any kind of word of mouth, have your client report that back to you.
Excellent, right. That's good, yeah. Third-party requests, good idea. Okay, let's move on. Let's see. Each week and month, effective postcards can generate additional initial appointments. Each quarter and each year, they create additional listings and sales. And so this author says, so every morning, take 5 minutes to record results. I would hope that your results are so the magnitude is so much that every morning you got to record the results. I haven't had that kind of success, but I do know they work. Notice what postcard and what specific part of the postcard generated the results. Then repeat postcard elements that generate the best responses, eliminate the elements that don't. Of course, that makes sense. Also measure return on your investment. We just talked about that. Effective postcard campaigns return a minimum of 4 times the cost, I would say at the very least. More often, the return is 8 to 12 times the cost. So let's do the math. Anybody have a little calculator? Let's say that your postcard campaign costs, worst case, $200 a month, and you do that 12 times a year. Where are we there?
2,400.
And if you list a home for $300,000, even though the average price is $350,000, and you're going to make 3% of that $300,000, what is that commission income?
9,000.
Okay, so for an investment of, what was it?
2,400. 6,600.
Okay. I mean, it's pretty inexpensive way to make money. All right, moving on. Design your postcard for results. Effective postcards are designed with 5 elements. I love this. I hadn't thought about this. The practitioners, we're practitioners, by the way. Picture on both sides. And one of the things that we have done more recently is, and typically my picture on the postcard, but it's same outfit, different pose, just so it's a little bit more interesting. Pictures of homes for sale and or sold. I did learn that if you do a postcard without a picture of a house, even though it doesn't have to be a for sale house, then that's kind of a mistake. People rather look at the house than the person who sent the postcard. You're in the real estate business. In fact, we went through a phase where my website was very Alaskan website that I spent many years ago spent a lot of money for, and somebody that was working for me who was in the marketing business said, Kathy, your postcard looks like a tourist site. It doesn't look like a real estate site. And I grumbled because I'd paid for those Alaskan photos that moved and did fancy, glittery things. And I grumbled, but over time we did change out some of those photos to have houses on as they on our website. And I don't know that that really made a huge difference, but it made sense to me.
So the pictures of homes for sale and sold, do they have to, I mean, like, for me, I don't know. If you only have like one, can you use other people's checkbox?
With permission, you can come to us and say, I love that house you have on Olympus Mountain Way.
Put it on the postcard.
Yeah. Be careful, though, that you not just have a high-end or a low-end property on your postcard,
Right.
because if it's super high-end, then all the $200,000 sellers they'll be afraid to call you. So, yeah, mid-range or something, the message is, the message could be, I sell all price ranges, call me. I sell all price ranges, call me. In fact, our marketing plan clearly says that, because I've been accused of, you only work with high. No, I don't work with just high-end because I will starve to death. But again, we don't specialize, we prefer working with all price ranges. The other thing I learned from people smarter than me is branding created a consistency of color, layout, design, and fonts. So our team color is purple and gold, and we try to be consistent with that throughout our marketing and all of our print advertising pages. A message specific to the targeted market and calls to action. What is a call to action? Who knows what that is?
Action.
Call me today for
Call
a
me
free
today.
marketing.
That is a call to action. Yeah, everybody around the room come up with a call to action really quickly, other than the one Carl did.
Call me for the first open house in this house.
Okay.
I've got a couple of questions for you. Give me a call.
Questions for you, call me. Okay.
Oh, I would just use the one that I was gonna put in mine is, call me for a competitive marketing process.
Right.
Right.
Robin, can you think of one?
I was texting a client. What was the question?
Come up with a call to action.
Call to action for your postcard. What would be a call to action?
Call me for a market analysis.
She just said that. Now,
So how about sales
if you're
statistics
farming
in your area?
neighborhood,
Ooh, that's
call your neighborhood specialist, or call me, I'm your neighbor. The thing about farming in your own neighborhood is there is a mindset that the neighbors think you're the best realtor to employ because you're the one realtor that wants the prices super high. You're not going to discount.
And you live there?
And you know the neighborhood.
Yeah, and you know the
all the
neighborhood.
positives.
And you're close. You know, you can show the house
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
So yours would be your neighbor. I'm your neighbor, or I'm your neighborhood specialist. Or yeah. Another thing I learned a long time ago is when you're sending postcards out, you can either send to the person on the tax records, but if you find in neighborhoods that changes and you're getting a lot of mail back, that's another thing. Spend a little extra money so you get a piece that doesn't get delivered, you get that piece back so you can revise your mailing list, because it gets expensive over time if you don't clean up your mailing list. So spend a little extra money and get the card back that doesn't get delivered for whatever reason. So if you're finding that's happening a lot, and let's say neighborhoods that turn over more quickly, there's nothing wrong with what I used to say, to my neighbor. Now, maybe that was over in Muldoon, and I live in Hillside, but I'm still their neighbor, I'm still in Anchorage, so. But that kind of helps you not get the pushback from the third person who lives in the house, and they're insulted that you didn't know their name.
Yeah.
You don't want to call them Mr. Smith if they're Mr. Jones.
Can you say our current resident?
I think that's cold,
Yeah.
and everybody does that. So, I mean, you could, but I would not prefer that. I prefer to my neighbor at something Clifton Jones Road. Just what I found to be
I
successful.
took off the people that live out of state that are on the tax records, right? Just take them out. 'Cause they
Oh,
don't have
heavens, no, leave them
Oh, yeah.
on. Why should you leave them on? Anybody?
Oh,
Well, if they're
because
on the
I want to
tax
sell their
records,
house. Of course.
They're the ones that.
I was
make
just,
you
I
the
had them
most.
circled, I'm like, well, I was gonna ask Teresa, you
No,
know.
leave 'em
Oh,
on.
leave them on,
They
okay.
need you more than the.
They don't want to be snowbirds anymore. They just want to sell it.
They don't wanna rent it out, yeah,
And
because they
then
might.
I used to take, it's like in a condominium association, there might be a couple of properties where the address is the association name.
Yeah,
And the reason for that, I'm thinking Carl probably knows better than
it's a
me.
board number.
I'm thinking that maybe they had to foreclose on the condo for unpaid dues. But it's even the association that might need a realtor, or somebody that works at the association, the receptionist who gets the mail. So I used to pull those names off. I don't do that anymore. I leave them on.
It's true.
The one thing you want to, when we were doing mail outs, we would print out the tax records for the mailing piece, but you'll see a lot of duplicates even on the tax records. So to save a little bit of money, I would pull the duplicates off. And the other thing you want to check, by the way, who can guess this one? What's the other thing you want to look for when you pull tax records for a mail out?
If it's a trust or corporation?
I was gonna say delinquent taxes to see if they paid them, but that's my escrow side coming out.
Dave? No.
I just have names and addresses.
It would be other realtors.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Grace has already
Don't waste
circled
your
them.
money
Yeah.
And don't let them know what you're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily want to say, I'm farming your neighborhood now, because suddenly they may decide to farm it as well. So take the realtors' names off, and the longer you're in the business, the more you'll know who they are. If you're brand new, you may not know.
Teresa knew.
But you could run. some-
Yeah, Teresa will know.
She circled them. I have 3.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah. Or 2. 2
Yeah,
and,
she said take
and
them
a
off.
1 mortgage person.
oh, now I wouldn't take mortgage people off. No, they are your sphere of influence.
Okay.
Keep them on. They may need a good realtor too. Okay, so designing, let's see, call to action, we did that. Besides creating a listing or sale from post. Okay, number 4, this is important on my checklist here. Besides creating a listing or sale from postcard marketing, what is the other real purpose of consistent postcard marketing? Anybody?
Top of mind.
Top of mind, yes, Carl's right. You can do 12 months of postcard mailouts and nothing happens. I think I told you all this story. I have this feeling I did. I'll say it again. Again, back to Houston, Texas. I was very aggressive with letters out into the neighborhoods and postcard marketing. I actually hired a little girl who barely spoke English, and her main job in life was to get my postcards out there. We probably were doing 1,200 a month.
Wow.
And then I also, after she got a real estate license, by the way, I was so proud of her. And she spoke better and better English. She became a property manager. But after she got a real estate license, it became more valuable. I hired my father-in-law, who at the time was 75, to do my mail outs. So I paid him to do my mail outs, and he loved it, and he had a job. But anyway, my story is that I was in the office one day, and we had a strip center office, and a man came into the front office, and he was angry. And the front desk person came around the corner to my office. She said, Kathy, there's a man here that wants to talk to you. He's really mad. I'm thinking, okay, whatever. So I went out and said, "Hi, sir, I'm Kathy Fernandez, and what can I do to help you today?" He says, "Well, I'm here to tell you that I am sick to death of getting your postcards. I don't want you to send me any more postcards, but here's the problem. I now need a realtor, and you're the only one I can think of. Will you list my house?" And of course I did.
That's phenomenal.
So they were.
That's a wonderful
Did
That's
story.
a great story.
That is a great story.
Top of mind. Okay, number 5 on my list. Per the article, what is considered proper consistency with postcard marketing or to attain the best results, which is where Billy needs, we'll pick up the pace at some point.
Someone.
Okay, so look under number 3 on the handout. And this is something, we just did it, 12 times 200. Effective postcard frequency is 9 to 12 times annually to your highest value market, and we'll talk about who that is, and 4 to 12 times annually to your other targeted markets, and we'll identify the difference. The goal of any marketing campaign is to create top-of-mind awareness. That means when the targeted market thinks of real estate, your name should come to mind. And when your name comes to mind, the targeted market associates it with a successful real estate experience. Okay, so let's move on and target high-value markets on the handout. A market is simply a group of people that have something in common. Now, what would be the group of people that have something in common with you today? Anybody?
Your lender?
Your lender, absolutely. Your neighbors.
Neighborhood, yeah.
What was that?
The neighborhood, yeah.
The neighbors, okay, keep going.
Your title people.
Title people, industry people have something in common.
Your age group.
Your softball
Okay.
team.
Not be wasting.
But,
That would be hard.
but
There's
older
time.
people tend to have more money,
Yeah.
or more buying power, so I would not include that.
Mhm.
But keep going.
I would include my age group, just
Okay.
because they
Are buying.
they may have less money, but it's time to buy. Or
Okay.
move up if they have.
And in mine, it's time to sell, or getting to be time to
Okay,
sell.
how do you identify your age group? How would you do that? How do you find those people?
Well, then that's.
Oh,
That's
I
your sphere of
I see
influence.
what you're saying,
Your
yeah, yeah,
sphere of influence.
right.
Still not what I'm looking for. We're still missing one more
Your softball team.
high value. What was
Your
your
softball
Yeah.
team.
Softball
Oh,
team,
yeah,
yeah.
the things
Your
you
dog
do.
rescue.
Your
dog rescue? Totally.
Yeah.
extracurricular, so if you volunteer.
Yeah.
If you do hobbies or sports that involves other people, that kind of thing, yeah.
Okay, the one component, you're all right, but the one component missing is your past clients.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking that earlier.
Always include them.
No wonder I didn't say that.
Well, so after you said postcards, I was like, I never did postcards, but I did do newsletters.
There you go.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Okay, so the other geographic or demographic markets that you have a high level of name or face recognition. So that would be the, people will know you from the HOA. Yeah. Now, let's talk about just listed and just sold campaigns. And I learned something from all of this that I'd never thought about before, shame on me. So just listed and just sold campaigns violate this rule. And why is that? If you are trying to target your sphere of influence or your high value people, and you send a just listed card to a neighborhood that you've never lived in and don't know anybody in, that's against the rules in terms of only marketing high value. But clearly, we want to send a postcard like I did to this lady that she kept it for 5 years, and I'm competing for a listing now. So that was a just listed card, and maybe I did it just sold for that when we sold the property. I don't remember. But this said, and I'm loving this. This said, don't just send your just listed and just sold cards to the neighborhood. Also send them to your high value market targeted people. So to the people who love me and know who I am, who are my high market people, if I consistently send them just listed, just sold cards, holy cow, they're going to think I'm the only realtor in Alaska.
For clarification, high market people are just your fans, right?
It's your sphere of influence. Right. Or your neighborhood, where you live. Yeah, or where you're known. But the second type of marketing would be your just listed and just sold cards. And I'm just disappointed in myself that it never dawned on me to also send those cards to the other group of people. Because if you do just a just listed card and then you never send another thing out to that neighborhood, you probably wasted your money.
Yeah.
But if that card goes to your sphere of influence, holy mackerel, that's beautiful. Okay. So that's number 7, how to treat just listed and just sold campaigns, send them to everybody. And number 8, don't forget the WIIFT, which means what's in it for them. So when you do an informational postcard, let's say it's not a just listed and just sold card, it's going to be a conversation about the neighborhood, or the interest rates, or the economy that you can speak to. So what is going through the minds of people in your target market? Are they curious about what is happening to property values? Are they wondering whether to sell or buy? Are they concerned about local layoffs and unemployment? Do they wonder if foreclosures dominate the news, impact their property value? Do they completely trust that you do the best job serving their needs and bring them the best value for their homes? So number 8 on my handout, let's go around the room and talk about, other than just listed and just sold messages, what could we talk about to our target market?
My favorite is the tax exemption pages.
And you want to talk about that a little bit to everybody?
I think there's 3: senior citizen, disabled veteran, and just plain Jane homeowner.
So what Amanda's talking about, if you all don't already know, is where you can get property tax breaks in certain categories. And so Amanda was talking, and you've done door knocking to
I
tell
do
people.
door knocking with it, yeah, but I
But
think,
wouldn't it be cool to put that on a postcard?
yeah, that would be a good one for them to know, oh, hey, somebody didn't need a huge tax break.
What about a postcard that reminds people of daylight savings time?
Oh, that's
Thank you. Yeah, I hope you're writing this down.
Public service.
I mean, it's where you're providing a service, you're not asking for business. You're just offering information.
Well, and you could always do upcoming like big charity events if you're involved with other charities or things like that, which also helps promote your branding to show you that you're actually a member of the community and not just somebody trying to get business out of people.
I think I would send one out for Halloween. Because our neighborhood gets so many kids. They better
Oh.
stock up.
Great idea.
It's so many kids.
Or Halloween safety.
It's a Halloween
Oh, yeah,
safety,
that
watch
would
out
do.
for the kids.
Safety tip.
You know, yeah, it's,
Bayshore.
Really?
Yep.
Wow,
First organization.
crazy kid.
So any additional thoughts or questions about that? And if not, I was going to have Carl talk to us about direct mail, some of the rules of direct mail.
One thing I talk about with my neighbors in passing, because one thing they'll ask is, well, how's the real estate market? Everybody's asking that.
Yep.
And in my neighborhood, I know, and I watch the market very carefully. If your house is fixed up, it sells right away for asking or more. If it's not, it takes a little longer, but it still sells right away, just because that's the hot
That's
part of
your
town.
neighborhood, too.
That's the hot part of town right now. But if you really want, whatever you're gonna put into it, you're gonna get out of it.
That's a great answer. And that's something you would know and they don't know, and you could put that in a postcard. Great, okay. So Carl, why don't you talk to us about the rules of direct mail?
Sure enough. So this is information I actually got from a client we're working with. I checked in and said, how you doing? She says, good. By the way, I have a new job at the post office. I'm marketing this stuff. It's like, awesome. What she does is coordinates for small businesses these kind of direct mail outs. And it's, to my understanding, it goes out to everyone along that carrier route, depending on
Oh,
the
wow.
cost. So like the postman just gets in just one per mailbox,
Yeah.
pop, 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 pop. And the postage rate on that is extraordinary, 17 cents per piece, which is really, really good savings, certainly over retail. But even like the other ones I've heard were around like 37 or 32 for a nonprofit, I think. So 17 cents postage per piece that you get sent out is really, really good.
Is that just for flyer or is that for?
It's for a few
Postcard?
things. It can be postcards. I think they even have a thing where you can go, they'll help you set up, so you can do like magnets, calendars, things like that. And this is something they're starting to get aggressive into pushing. So it kind of makes sense to get in there first. So included with your packets is like front and back information that the post office has sent out or sent to me. And then if you fold this in half, it becomes the fun little brochure. Every door direct mail.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, isn't it fun? And then you just read it. Oh, it's upside down. That part's too bad. Everything else is good. Yeah. So that's,
So you just have to have your business license to be able to qualify for it, or is that?
to my understanding, yeah, as independent contractors, we're all set. We're good to go. And then, but yeah, I know the person at the post office is actually doing it, so if you're looking at doing it, let me know, I'll put you right in touch. Yeah.
127 people. Yeah.
I think Kathy Johnson with Jack White sends her just listed postcards out first-class mail, just because she feels she gets a better service and probably is a little bit more, maybe the recipient will take it more seriously as well, rather than a bulk mail type thing.
Yeah. Teresa said the handwriting too, at least the addresses
Oh, yeah, people will definitely read that.
compared to something printed.
So there we have it. That's what we wanted to talk about today.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thanks to my team, too. They did a lot of backup work on this.
Oh, it was nothing. Seriously, it was nothing for me. I didn't do any part of it.
I noticed.
Real busy making money.
Oh yeah, here's one of Kathy Johnson's postcards. cards right here.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay.